Hey, greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome on in here to Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. Excited for this week's episode of the Tyler Rausa Show. Tyler Rausa, you see up there up top, and we got a special guest today, Tyler, somebody that you know pretty well.
Oh, gosh. One of my really good friends, David Mckinzie, former football player, voice of Boise. I mean, he's the man himself. D-Mac, thanks for coming on, brother.
Dude, absolutely, man. Tyler is my man, and every time I think I can beat him in golf, I never can.
Now we are about 5 minutes late getting to the show here. I'm sorry, we had to actually talk David Mckinzie back into doing the show because once he heard that Tyler was doing it, he actually got up and walked away. So David, we did add an extra zero to the paycheck tonight. We appreciate you for sticking around, man.
Absolutely, it took a lot to get on here tonight with Tyler, but you know what? We'll make it happen.
Give us give us some dirt on Tyler before we go any further. Come on, tell folks about Tyler. What do you think about Tyler hosting his own show here?
Dude, I love it, man. Tyler's always been me and Tyler have always been, close, cool from the football days, and we like I said, we golf together as well too. So he teaches me some pointers on that. I talk smack if I get him on one hole, and then 10 holes later, I haven't beat him on any of those. So, yeah.
I like golfing with Tyler because he's real good at helping me in the bushes try to find my balls.
I will say this. BJ is the only person I've ever seen keep score of like every shot he's had. Like
when
it's
100. Yeah, it's 105 or whatever it is. I make sure I keep every
shot.
You're not getting better if you're not tracking how you're doing, right? Come on.
I mean, it's like if he tops it by accident, I'm like, no, you're good. He's like, no, that's a stroke. And I'm like, you can have it if you want. It's up to you.
You need that. Though. I respect it.
We got to work on that. I'm working on a sponsorship, Tyler, with a local golf course here that I can't divulge yet. Maybe we can get some free rounds and get out there and you can give me some pointers. But excited for this week's show, the Tyler Rausa Show. We talk Boise State football usually every Monday night, but Tyler's was traveling. I had some stuff going on, so Tuesday night tonight. And David, I know you got a lot going on. You got a unique connection to this bowl game, so we thought we could just talk Boise State football with you, talk life with you, and we're excited too about your connection with Reveal Suits and the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Tell us briefly about that, and then we'll circle back around to it too.
Yeah, man. It's so I'm the national spokesman for Reveal Suits. They do these incredible cool blazers for collegiate teams, NFL players, NBA Hall of Fame, and more. So they actually are the official suit partner for the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. So the Boise State football team will get to be in these super cool blazers with the Bronco inside and the coaches as well too, along with the opposing team as well too. So we announced it back in freaking July that we were going to do this for their Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. And then who would have thought that 6 months later, Boise State football is playing in this bowl game, and me being a former football player, it was just, serendipity, man. So pretty cool moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that the suit, the picture, I might have actually taken the picture. We're going to show a commercial here in a little bit, but me and Dave Southern were down there at the Dallas Cowboys game, and Tyrone Crawford made sure to show us and opened up his suit jacket, and he's got the Boise State on there, and that's pretty cool. You guys talk about bowl gifts. What were some of the coolest gifts you guys remember getting from bowls? And Tyler, what do you think about getting a personalized fitted suit that you can pop open and see that Boise State Bronco logo in there?
Well, I think the best thing about it is, especially with, for me, going beyond the football years, especially if you're getting ready for a job interview, if you got to go somewhere nice, you go into a wedding, anything like that, you're a step ahead. I mean, and it's one little flash that you got to do that lets people know where you came from, but it's more of a tool that you can use for years to come after football. I think it's legit.
I agree with Tyler, man. I mean, the Fiesta Bowl we went to, we had some cool gifts. And me and Tyler were both on that team, but I think to add an aspect of a blazer aspect where you can kind of like get fitted, that's a whole, because mostly it's electronics or headphones or a cool jewelry piece or a watch. But you get like a blazer in this thing, man. I think that's going to open up a lot of gates for future bowl gifts.
Well, David, go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
I said, especially what's in these suites is, I think with the Fiesta Bowl, I think I got a couch or something like a recliner. That later I got overthrown with and I think I ended up giving it away because that's what the wife wanted. It wasn't my idea, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's, again, that blazer, that's next level, man.
Oh yeah.
David, I know a lot of people listening and watching this. We got the video live version here, and then we'll have the audio podcast version posted to iTunes and Amazon and some of this later. And we get a lot of downloads on that, so they can't see you, but they can hear you. What, obviously a very visible guy in this community, in this town. For folks that maybe don't remember, to start with, tell us back to the years you played for Boise State and some of the thoughts on your career.
My career, BJ, like I said, was very humbling. I came in as a walk-on. I was on some really good teams, met some really cool people, but a lot of my time was just, observing, helping the team, getting on special teams here and there. Hopefully I can kind of get in and help a ball club can win. So I kind of exercised that servant leadership thing right into my career of trying to make others better. So going into my career, I have my own public relations and marketing business, and my whole thing is just to try to make others look good, promoting their brand, promoting themselves as an individual, a new release they're having. So multiple industries I can touch, but it goes to the core of what I learned playing at Boise State football of is serving to lead. And through that, I've kind of got the nickname, the voice of Boise. I didn't give that nickname to myself. People started calling me that. And, but that's where it kind of goes back to the career, man, at Boise State. So wasn't the best maybe on paper, but I had some good times, met some cool friends, and it set me up for my career.
Now, I don't say this at all in a negative light, but I don't think you had a catch in your career at Boise State, did you?
Never, man.
And I've never met someone that on the stat sheet in the games maybe didn't have the impact, but yet you talk to any of your teammates and they say you're the funniest guy, the favorite teammate, all that stuff. And then now what you're doing in the community. I mean, I can't think of a story, Tyler, of a guy that had a huge impact off the field, in the locker room and all that, and it maybe didn't show on the field. But I've never met someone that said they didn't think you were one of the best teammates they had, David.
I appreciate that, man. And you know what? Some of my teammates make jokes. And, it's about the playing time. And, like I said, it was humbling, but that also was the thing that motivated me coming out and doing what I'm doing now. So, that's being spokesman for brands or doing commercials and doing stuff with Good Morning America and CBS. That was like a motivating factor when I came out of even though I was a guy in the shadows, I still was like, I feel like I can offer something to the table. And that's what pushed me to do what I'm doing now. So
what years did you play with the Broncos?
I was 13 through 16, I believe. So we were on the 2014 Fiesta Bowl team. I got that ring on tonight.
There you go.
15,
and,
yeah.
What's that?
15, I believe, wasn't it?
This was
at the Poinsettia Bowl. That was your last one, right?
No, I did the Cactus Bowl too.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, you did.
How are you going to argue with the man on when he stopped playing?
I couldn't remember what it was. And here's the best thing about David is, you know what? No, he did not touch the field, but there's so many things behind the scenes that people need to realize is everybody has their job. And if you know your job, you know your role. And what David did for us was he basically gave us looks that, maybe somebody who we didn't know could give us. And he's a locker room guy. He's a glue guy. So he's what brings so many guys together, gives you so many different outlooks. And it's kind of that bond that he brings that's what brings a team together. And it's guys like David that you want in the locker room. I mean, he does more kind of off the field for us than what he could have possibly done on the field. I mean, you never know, but there's so many things that he did positive for us as a team that, I mean, even friendships bonded over that you couldn't do anything else.
Thanks, T.
Now, David, you're from Texas, or where are you from?
From Dallas, Texas. That's right.
So how'd you end up as a walk-on at Boise State?
I had a scholarship at Texas Tech, and they pulled it last minute. Because at the time, Tommy Tuberville was leaving, Cliff Kingsbury was coming in. So when he was coming in, it was a clean house. So I had nowhere to go. And a guy by the name of Robert Prince at the time, was OC. Now he's in the NFL. Came to my high school a week later and said, "We heard you slip through the cracks, and would love to have you come here as a preferred walk-on. We have a spot for you." So I came here sight unseen, saying, "Hey, I'm in. Let's do it." And best decision I ever made, and set me up for the career trajectory that I'm on now.
Were you a Harsin fan?
Well, not really. I'll be honest with you, not really. But hey, he was a good football coach. I would say he knew football. But some coaches are like a Coach Pete knows how to communicate, likes the culture, likes the guys, and I learned a lot from Harsin too. But like I said, would it be my favorite? No. but respect what he's done for the game and is a good coach.
I know he was a guy that I've talked to guys that loved him and guys that hated him. And it seemed like he was kind of if you were on his side, you loved him. And if you didn't, you didn't. I mean, I'm not asking you to go into too much detail or rip on the guy, but it did seem like some guys loved him and some guys didn't. Right. And I guess maybe that's how it is for any coach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. Definitely a lot of players didn't really agree with his style, more than less, I would say. But like I said, he did have a motivating factor to where when you were winning games, you did have to offer that respect to him and say, hey, we're winning football games and all that. And I think a lot of guys who came in with Coach Pete were used to that style. And when this other style comes in, it's kind of like, I'm not really remorseful. I'm kind of more about just winning. That can maybe, rub some gears the wrong way. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough. What I know you didn't have Andy Avalos as a defensive coach, but you're still tight with the program and know a lot of the guys and stuff. I mean, were you happy to see him come in, and what do you make of the new era here?
I was extremely happy about Avalos coming in, man, because I actually had him on my show, the Voice of Boise show. We have the #1 social media talk show in Boise. And Andy Avalos.
Not for long, man. Not for long.
Let's go. Let's go.
I had Avalos on the show, and when I was playing at Boise State, Avalos was a guy who was just a good coach. He just knew he knew everything in and out. And I think a lot of the guys I got when he came here were saying, man, everybody's having fun. Everybody's enjoying the culture. Everybody's enjoying life again. Everybody's having fun playing football. And Avalos brought that. So I think when he got hired, I was like, this is a cool thing to have a guy like that back.
Okay, so you finished your career, the 2016 Cactus Bowl. Tyler says it was a 2015 Poinsettia Bowl, but we'll take your word for it over his.
Yeah.
Give us the Cliff Notes version of how your kind of windy road to your career has got you to this point, and as the entrepreneur and speaker and motivating speaker and MC and all the things that you do.
Sure, yeah. I mean, very simple. We'll start with just me speaking at events, man, across the country, hosting governor's balls and galas and Miss Idaho's, all that nature, which got me featured on Good Morning America, got me doing some work with CBS. But I thought, hey, how can I turn this into a business? And so when I started having guys who were in the NFL or top CEOs or anybody in the industry, real estate, who were saying, hey, could you help me grow my brand or help me, promote myself, whatever. That was my specialty because I grew a large brand for myself via social media. So as I started helping these guys, I created my business, David Mckinzie Enterprises, LLC. And since then, BJ, we've got to touch people like in the NBA. We've got to do business with people, celebrities, entertainers, musicians, real estate brands, individuals, authors, you name it, just by promoting. And that's my flow of helping people promote themselves and get themselves out there. And through that, I've grown a following of about 40 to 50,000 via all social media together. And it's been a blessing, man, just walking where God's leading. And that's what kind of led me with to Reveal Suits as well, too. So it's that's kind of the quick 30-second thing of how that happened. And out of that, that's where I created the talk show, because I'm like, why not bring on a person? We had the guy from Papa Roach, the rock band, Last Resort, huge band. We had him on the show. We had all these guys. But why not give these people a platform like you're doing and have them talk about what they're doing? I mean, there's always a room for that. And I don't care what anybody says. They always want to be recognized. They always do.
Yeah, I mean, always. There's always going to be some sort of stage where they want to be recognized. They want to be talked about. They want to tell their story. And I think that's the best part about this, too, is especially with you, is there's so much that is behind the scenes that people don't know with what you've done, where you're going, and where you're going to continue to go. So we're here. We're at Reveal Suits. We're at the Barstool's Bowl. Are you going to the game 1?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to be there. 2, what's next? What can we expect next from David Mckinzie?
Yeah, so we are going to the bowl game. We'll just be getting some pressures behind there since I'm their spokesman. So just kind of doing some announcement stuff, showing the guys get fitted for their blazers and all of that, which will be exciting. And when it comes to what's next, man, I mean, I would just say we got a lot of things coming from Reveal Suits with some massive names that people know about that I can't say anything yet. That's exciting. And just more growing the business of connecting with more branding, more business owners, more real estate CEOs, etc. And I have another guest coming up on the show that I can't mention as well either. But just continue to flow in that grace, man. And like you guys both know, when you're in where you're supposed to be, things come effortlessly. So I'm just going to walk where he tells me to walk and go from there.
David, how do you? I've always admired your. How do I phrase this? You don't really give a damn. You go out there dancing on the screen, and you just kind of are free falling. We saw you doing the announcing at the emceeing stuff at some of the timeouts of the basketball games, and you're out there singing in front of 40,000 people. I mean, how did you get that kind of where you're not timid, you're not shy, you're able to just kind of be you and come out? And we see it in all your videos where you're getting ready to head on stage and you're just walking and stuff, and you're a great follow on social media. But have you always been outgoing like that, or do you have to kind of get out of your shell a little bit when you got into the business?
Well, I think when you have an innate gift to do something and you know how you have all this energy in you, you really don't give a damn, because it's like at the end of the day, you know what you're going to bring to the table could really change the aspect of something. I mean, with doing the on the field announcing for Boise State games, I mean, there's a lot more than just to go on the field and say, hey, congrats to the Mountain West Champions gymnastics team. I mean, we got 35,000 people there trying to have fun. How about Sweet Caroline? How about Living on a Prayer to get somebody amped up and have fun? So when you are a person who is trying to do something outside the norm of what people normally do, you're going to try to have people, they're going to try to tell you to just do this, do that. But when you're trying to do something entrepreneurial, you got to say, I know this is good. I know it's going to work. And when you're brave like that, when it works out, then everybody's going to be like, oh, that was the greatest thing. The Living on the Prayer got 30,000 views. Yeah, because we need to step outside the box. So I think any innovator, anybody that we looked at that revere had to at one point step out and say, I don't care. I know this is good. Let's step out and do it.
What about some of the motivating speeches you've done and some of that kind of stuff? I've seen some videos of you speaking at some events. I mean, you can do the whole MC thing and the song and dance, but you also got a message that you can give to people too. Where'd that come from?
Well, I just think when I've always liked to speak. My mom was a speaker, so was my dad. And, I think when, and Tyler can tell you this too, but, and Tyler can relate to this, but when I've had people for years, even when I started my entrepreneurial journey, saying, this is what you should do. And I don't get what DMAC does and certain things like that. And it's like, to be honest, if you're a person who has one talent, you have no room to tell somebody who has 8 how to do it. And I think the motivational aspect just came from, walking a lonely path, doing something that others are not doing, and maybe others are not quite understanding. And then, going against that grain and still achieving success. So when you walk in that, there's going to be some grit underneath that. There's going to be some confidence that breeds. And there's also going to be a motivational message to tell people, if you're called to be an artist or a painter, but everybody's telling you to be an accountant, well, you need to follow your gift in some way and not hinder that.
What you've talked to a lot of famous people, met a lot of famous people, done a lot of cool things. I know you went to the NBA Hall of Fame as part of with Reveal Suits too. All the orange blazers that all the Hall of Fame players wear are Reveal Suits. What's been in this journey the last 5 years since you graduated from Boise State? What's been the coolest moment for you, or the coolest person you've got a chance to talk to, or what's kind of the one highlight moment for you?
Yeah, man, I think there's been definitely a handful, definitely many, but the ones that stick out is definitely the NBA Hall of Fame, with getting to talk to guys like Paul Pierce and Chris Bosh, and seeing D Wade and LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I didn't get to talk to Michael. I got to talk to Isaiah Thomas and Dr. J. So just seeing these legends of the games that you grew up with, I mean, it's almost like a family reunion, man. You go to the bathroom and it's Gary Payton, and then it's like, Vinny Del Negro comes out and it's just like, what's going on? So to meet those guys was pretty cool. And I would also say, man, with having, I'm a huge classic rock guy. I love music. And so to have the drummer from Papa Roach on the show was a moment for me, because now me and him are texting. He's texting me, hey, man, did you watch the Beatles documentary? And I'm like, yeah, man, did you like it? And it was just like a moment of like, am I really texting, this guy about the Beatles, my favorite band? So those moments like that stick out. And lastly, it would say me interviewing Heather Cox from NBC. Everybody knows Heather Cox. She's interviewed Kobe and Steph Curry and all these guys. So just to learn from her and hear her story was just a blessing. God's good.
Well, when you get pretty far down the line and can't, your guest cancels on you for a week or something, maybe we can get Tyler on or something. If you'd have to go
I'm not big time yet.
pretty far down the list, I guess, to get to Tyler, but I think he'd be a good guest.
Well, I mean, you got to understand on the show, it's not just, these high profile people. I mean, we feature companies and smaller businesses and really everything. So we try to touch everything.
What is before we go any further, what is the way that, tell us more about the show and how folks can, I know you've had Coach Patton on and Coach Rice, and you mentioned Coach Davalos, some big time guests, as you said, Heather Cox. Where can folks find the show?
Yeah, so the show, the full episodes are dropping on my Instagram. That's at DMAC_1. So at DMAC_1. And you'll see me kind of teasing these episodes through Twitter or through Facebook or through LinkedIn or whatever. But mostly, like I said, man, I mean, at my core, dude, and Tyler knows me, at my core, dude, I get so energetic about, seeing somebody's full potential, right? Like if I see someone, I'm like, dude, like, why are you not, you should be doing this, or you should be doing, like, I get energized by that. And so like today we had an auctioneer on my show who's done events with Jay Leno and Will.i.am and stuff. Like he lives in Boise. Nobody knows he really lives in Boise, but I'm like, well, let's change that, because if you're doing a cool thing in the auctioneering space, let's show that, you are something special and what you're doing.
Tyler, does it surprise you knowing David that what he's doing with his career here?
No, not at all. I mean, we've always talked about it. He's always been about it. I mean, even day one since he showed up on campus, he just said he wants to be the Black Ryan Seacrest. I mean, it's everything he wants to do. And we go, I mean, when we go play basketball at the rec, he's wearing one earring because he wants to be like MJ. I mean, it's right. The whole 9 yards. It's everything that he talks about. He's about it. Talk about it, be about it. That's him. And then kind of going back a little bit on just, what he's talking about with, you have somebody who wants to be a musician and they're telling him to be an accountant, man. It's that blind faith. It's something that you don't know exactly where you're going, but you're in the right direction, just trying to work towards, just that blind faith where it's, where you're going, you just don't know where you're going.
And David, David, he talks about blind faith. You talk about that. This guy really well, and he's still trying to make it in that NFL dream. This guy's been out of, teams are, for whatever reason, not giving him a chance, but he keeps going multiple times a week, late at night to Boise State to practice. He's not giving up on that dream. You're a guy, David, motivating and all that kind of stuff. What do you think of Tyler and just his, refusal to be told he's not going to make it in the NFL? And, it'd be a Cinderella story. It could be a movie someday, if he gets that call, but he's not giving up yet. And what is that, as someone in your profession, motivating speaker, that kind of thing, what do you make of Tyler's kind of refusal to give up on that dream?
Dude, I mean, I love it. I mean, because the thing is that he's already found success at that high level of playing professional football, right? So it's not like you're chasing a dead horse here. It's like, you're already in the game. It's similar to like it would be stupid for me to continue to do what I'm doing if I'm not seeing any fruits manifesting. I always tell people, if you're walking in a calling and it's just like, it's not really matching and you've been doing it, but it might not be for you. But if you're in a thing where it's like things are still manifesting, things are still getting feedback, things are still flowing, then you probably should still walk in that. And even if you don't reach where you're supposed to go, you're going to be somewhere close, somewhere within it. So I think it's admirable doing that. And Tyler has, gone against the odds of people know he has a skill, but others might be saying things of like, well, I don't know. And why should he? But you know what? I've been doing that too. And who gives a damn? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they're the same people that as soon as that breakthrough happens, as soon as they see David on this thing, or as soon as they see Tyler on the thing, they go, I always knew he could kick. I always knew BJ was a good speaker, or I always knew David was an entertainer. I mean, yeah. But yeah, he's the same guy that, unfollow me and didn't want to and whatever. So we're staying focused. Yeah.
Well, David, I'm going to try to play this commercial here that you sent me. Where it's we're dealing with a little bit of technical issues here to try to make it fit on the full screen.
Oh, yeah.
The audio is not great, so I'm going to take my headset off so folks can hear the audio here. I'm going to play the commercial, and then we'll talk about it here.
Yeah, let's do it.
College football season is here, and what comes with that? Bowl season. Reveal Suits is partnering up with the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, which will be the first ever bowl game to provide each player with their own personal reveal suit and have their team in it. Pretty cool stuff, right? I got one question for you. Are you ready for some football?
He crawled.
All right, so there's the commercial, and apologize for the technical issues there. The file format couldn't get formatted in time here, but tell us first of all about just Reveal Suits in general. So I know the team's getting it, but if a person watching wanted to just go get their favorite team or something on the inside of a suit jacket, can they do that?
Yeah, they should. I mean, if you go on the website, revealsuits.com, as you saw in that commercial, you will see all the school options there. And not only do they not just do the school options, if you want maybe a different design as well too, inside the blazer as well, that can happen too. So most of all, visit the website, see the school options, and they also have other design options. And if you have questions, hey, reach out to me or visit their website, shoot them an email. Like I said, I can answer some of those questions for you guys as well too, since I am their spokesman and kind of know the ins and outs and what's coming out here soon. But I mean, it's a super cool thing to have a very nice blazer that looks good, but also in the inside, it's like, oh, like I didn't see that coming. Like it kind of catches people off guard. So those are kind of a couple of ways that they can find it. And actually, we have some. Like I said, we're going to be their Reveal Suits has a license to Cincinnati as well too. So when Cincinnati, Alabama come into Dallas, that we might do some things with them as well too. So a lot of cool things coming.
Well, it's a really cool thing, and I know that the company's really taken off, and in the last couple of years and stuff. How did you get involved with them?
Tyler remembers this, but about 3 or 4 years ago, when I just started in entrepreneurship, I was in a company called Bowtie Hustle. And Bowtie Hustle was a company, it was a business where we were selling like these little logo bow ties. And, it was the first entrepreneurial journey we were having. We had some success, got into some stores, but, we didn't, have the success that we thought we were. But that's where we met Reveal Suits, because there was a point where Reveal Suits was saying we might need a collegiate tie to go along with our blazers. So we got connected through Coach Rice from Boise State basketball. Connected me with them, and we went down to Dallas and we closed a deal with them. Nothing really came from it, but me and Carlton, the CEO, we just had like an incredible relationship. We were always connecting. And then like 8 months ago, he was like, hey dude, I see you kind of doing the video PR stuff. Like, could you kind of start making some clips like that for us? It's like, sure. And it's just kind of evolved into this whole thing now. Like I caught it right before it was like, right when I signed with them. A month later, it was like Hall of Fame, then Barstool Sports. So it was just divine timing, man. I mean, alignment is everything, man. It's not even hard work. I mean, you got to work hard, but if you're aligned at the right time, I mean, it just happens. So,
I mean, go into a little bit of depth with some people, because people network and they don't know exactly what it is they're networking, what they're saying. So go into depth with, how did you talk to this guy? How did you come across just, hey, I'm the guy for you? Or was it just like a friendly conversation? Like, yeah, we're, just talking about this and this. I was a Boise State football guy. Like, what was that like?
Man, that's a great question, dude. I would say two things, man. I think when I was with Bowtie Hustle, we went down there and we were connecting with the guys, but I'm a networker at heart. But the thing is, when people networking is not just giving somebody a business card. It really is kind of being caring of like what they're doing, who they are, and how you could help. And I think that mentality kind of came off when I first met Carlton, the CEO. It was kind of like, hey, man, like, love what you guys are doing. Me and him always kind of connected. We were always kind of staying in contact, staying in relationship. And the second point to answer your question is that if you are trying to go somewhere, trying to achieve things, the one thing Tyler always does that I respect is he's trying to get signed to an NFL team, whatever, but guess what he's doing? He's posting him kicking. He's posting him showing his skill. He's posting himself showing what he can do. If you can do something good, now you're getting me hyped up here. If you can do something good and you have a gift, you shouldn't be hindering that. So the reason that brought Reveal Suits back to the table for me was I was consistently posting media content and posting brands and showing the content I can produce. And when you continue to publish like that, people are going to notice and say, hey, man, I love what you're creating with that. Could you do that for me? So that's what happened with Reveal Suits. We stay in touch. And one day he just said, hey, man, I like what you're doing. So it was two alignments: staying in a relationship, networking with intent, number one. And number two, continuing to put myself out there and continue to strive to where I know I could be.
Well, I told you 15 minutes and we're at 30, so I'm sorry for going over, David, but it's been great
I love
stuff.
it, man. Let's go. Keep it going.
As we kind of bring it back to the bowl game here and get ready to wrap it up, what are your, Barstool Sports, and there's a lot of controversy about that in Boise and stuff. You being a guy that's on social media a lot and use that for your, business as I do, and just, I don't know how familiar you are with Barstool and kind of the way they do things, but what is just your take on Boise State 7-5, maybe not the season they wanted this year, and going down to the Barstool Bowl in Arizona?
I think it's when it comes to the football side of things, I don't think this team should have anything to hang their head about. These guys were, let's talk about it. These guys were three wins away of really kind of being a 10-2 ball club,
And maybe one or two plays in each of those games.
Exactly. Maybe even being 12-1. Let's be real, 11-1. With one loss to UCF and to the Oklahoma State. We should have won those games. So I think for the seniors and stuff, they should be proud of this season. And Tyler's going to agree with this too. I think they can end it off on a great note with this bowl game. They can end it off on a greater note, BJ, than we had that 2015 year when we went to the Poinsettia Bowl. See, that was a year where we degraded expectations. We were supposed to go 15-0 that year coming back from Fiesta Bowl, and we went 9-5. That was a disastrous year, and that was a depressing year. And the crazy thing is that I was really hitting my stride as a player, but the fact that the team was going bad.
I was going to say, it was like 55-3 in that bowl game. They couldn't get you out there in the fourth quarter for something? Come on.
That's just the way the top down was. So I'm going to say.
I think it was 55-7.
55-7. So I think they're on a greater note, man. They shouldn't worry about this bowl game. It's going to be a good bowl game and fun bowl game, but they're definitely on a greater note than we were that 2015 year when we went 9-5.
Well, what about and then the next year, I think 2016, you got back to 10 wins, right? And went to the Cactus Bowl. I think you were 10-3 that season after you lost to Baylor.
That year, we thought, and when we were 7-0, I remember talking to the players, we thought we were going to go undefeated. I think we were number 13 in the country going into.
Was that the Wyoming butt fumble or the safety dance guy that game?
Yes.
We were 13th in the country and we were 7-0, and we were going to the week versus Wyoming. And if we would have won that week, number 7 and number 9 lost, and number 11 lost, so we would have been top 10 again and had a chance.
And the schedule got a lot easier after that. That was like the last hard game left, right?
Well, Air Force was tough too.
Okay. I remember thinking like that was just a one tricky, tough game left. Like if you got past that one, it was just it really eased up, I think, after that, right?
Well,
so who else did you guys lose? Who else did you lose to?
We lost to
was that one of the Fresno championships or no? That was
no, it was we lost to Wyoming, Josh Allen, and we lost to Air Force, and now we went 10-2, and then we got smashed by Baylor in the bowl game.
God, we got crushed.
Oh, was that the one where it was the Air Force game where like you guys had first and goal, like the 2-yard line, and couldn't score?
Yes.
You had, and if you'd have got it, if you'd have won that, you'd have got in the championship, I think, because later that day, New Mexico either beat somebody or lost to somebody or something.
Think about that team. At quarterback, you had Rip, and receivers, you had Spurbeck, Chaz, and Cedric Wilson.
Jeremy McNichols.
And J-Mac at running back. I mean, that team was really, really good. But when we got to that bowl game, nobody wanted to be there. And it showed. Yeah.
Can you tell that? Can you tell that pretty early on? I mean, is that like I've been asking guys about this Arizona Bowl because you would think 7-5, they get to go home for Christmas and then got to come back for the bowl game, and I do wonder about that with this team. I mean, what do you got? Is there any chance of that happening this time around?
Well, not with. I mean, it's different regimes, right? Like when we won the Fiesta Bowl that year, you could tell there was like a hunger to prove yourself. So in the locker room, the culture, you could just tell like we're gonna try to do something and fight. The next year when we went 9-5, you kind of tell it was like, yeah, we're gonna do it again, but it was a little cocky spirit there. You kind of feel like the work wasn't the same. With that bowl game at Cactus Bowl, nobody wanted to be there. I mean, you could just tell it was like, why are we even down here? I don't even feel like doing this stuff, etc. So I know from my perspective, and Tyler can maybe touch on this too. You can tell as in a culture, being in a culture, where you guys are at. Like, when I left in 2017 spring, I was just kind of starting getting some rest with the 2s and stuff, but I was burnt out, 1s and 2s. I told my parents, I said, this team next year will win the Mountain West Conference. I could just tell. I was just like, the work ethic's different again. Vander Ash, that was his first year starting. I was like, this year we're going to win. And they end up winning and beating Oregon in the Vegas Bowl. So you just know the culture. And lastly, I'll say on that Poinsettia Bowl year, that's when I had the revelation. That's when I had respect for Tom Brady, because I said it's hard to continue to win every single year at the highest level, because we had all the talent back. I mean, and more, and went 9-5. So
you both said right away nobody wanted to be there. Tyler, how can you tell that, or what do you remember about that?
I mean, you can tell right away, because usually there's some sort of excitement when you go to these bowl games, because it's like, okay, we get to go here, we get to do this. I mean, and it's kind of, I relate it to like 2013 when we went to the Hawaii Bowl. I mean, Coach Peterson just announced he was leaving. I think we had all 3 coaches on staff with the GAs, and nobody wanted to be there. I mean, we were a couple days going before the game, and it's just like Coach Gregory, pulls aside. He's like, guys, we got to be focused for this game. Like, we are not focused. We are not ready to go. But it was kind of along the same lines there, where it's guys just weren't focused. They weren't ready. They were either guys were looking forward to next season, guys were looking forward to the draft. I mean, it's everybody basically, when they start looking beyond and not actually talking about the game, that's where you got to be worried. And
I remember that bowl game. I didn't do it. I was a walk-on. That's when I came to the bowl game, and they were like, we should go out. We should have fun. Yeah. That was when Joe Southwick thing happened. I was like, if he got kicked off, my ass is grass.
You're done. You're done.
I go, I'm staying in this hotel room. I'm not going nowhere. I might hit the beach and come back. So
yeah, I mean, even when we go to even the Fiesta Bowl, I mean, it's, you had the talking stick that's right there next to the hotel. I mean, guys are going to the talking stick. We're doing stuff. We're doing fun stuff. But it's like there's almost that like natural respect where it's like, all right, I got to get back because there's a bigger goal that we got to achieve. I mean, when it came to the Cactus Bowl, there was none of that. It was, we're going to go do what we're going to do. Guys were just everywhere. I mean, there was zero focus, especially you go to these practices too, and some of these bowl prep practices, and even just stuff that before you even go there, and you're just like, there is no energy. Everybody's sloppy. You're just kind of going through the motions at that point, and that's where you start getting worried.
I can go in depth, but I'm not going to of just some other things that coaches were doing, and with the mood. If maybe some coaches were getting rumored of going to other schools,
right?
You could kind of tell that they were about to go to another school, but you could, and see, for me, being I was a walk-on, but I was you observe everything. You see different players. I mean, I was a walk-on, but my closest friends were, Spurbeck and Jake Rowe, and guys who were all Mountain West, everything, right? So I'm hearing both sides. I'm hearing the walk-on saying I should be playing more, whatever, and then I'm hearing other guys saying, well, this. So I got to hear both perspectives and kind of be like, I would just sit there and be like, interesting.
And then you ran into a sneaky 6-6 Baylor team that had just hired a new coach and was kind of wanting to finish their season right, and they had some speed. And I think that receiver Cannon, was it Kate? No,
Katie Cannon.
Katie Cannon. That dude had a day against you guys too.
If that man was on fantasy football that day, he would have won a lot of.
David, as we kind of wrap this up, so you're going down to Arizona. What is kind of the plan? That I assume they'll just get fitted for the suits and then get them mailed to them later, or what's kind of the plan? And what kind of stuff do we have in store that we can be checking out on the Reveal Suits social media or your social media in terms of what you guys have in store for the players down there?
Yeah, I mean, since this is the first annual bowl ever to have a suit as a gift, I'm going to be down there with my video team, kind of doing some content recapping the event. When it comes to the players getting their suits, the only people that will be in their blazers, actual blazers there, will just be the opposing coaches, Avalos, the other coach, and maybe like the ADs or something. But it's too quick of a turnaround time to do 240 players suits to be ready within the next week, especially during this time. So they'll just get fitted. They'll see different designs. They'll see what ones they like, what tailor, whatever fits best. So I'll be down there kind of talking to the guys, see what feels best. I'll do a couple of pressures on it. And once they get their measurements in, those suits will be sent to their door. I know they're going to be excited when they open that thing, because every time Reveal sends me one, I still love opening
How many Blazers do you have, man? Maybe not just Reveal Suits, but just in general. How many sport coats you got?
BJ, why do you care, man? I mean,
because like, you're a very styling dude, man. You're a very you have the style
assassin.
and trying to say this without sounding weird, man. But you're a good looking guy. You dress nice. You wear good stuff. So I'm like I'll just figure you don't have the the black one and the blue one and the brown one that you rotate through. I think you got a few.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. I have about 10 to 11 Blazers.
Okay.
So and I have about six or seven of those are Reveal Suits. And the other ones are just different ones I use. But man, they have some colors in there, man, that you could put some designs. I mean, I can see you right now, BJ, in a nice blue blazer, man, and you can just wear a normal T-shirt like this and show your lady you open it up and that thing. Come on, bro, look at that. Boise State.
We'll get Bronco Nation News on the inside, man. Let's get the company swag on there.
Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's go.
Hey, David, appreciate it, man. You're an inspiration. You're doing a heck of a job, man. And I know we've talked and stuff about my company that I'm doing here. I know we saw you at Albertsons a while back. It was good to catch up and proud of you, man. It's been cool to see you. 2013 was my first year covering the team, so been cool to kind of get in Boise at the same time and see what you've done with your career. And I know as Tyler asked you what was next, I whatever it is, I know anyone that knows you knows it's going to be something big, man. So big success to you. Hope the TV show keeps going. Folks will check out that Instagram, check out your social media and the Reveal Suits, revealsuits.com. Folks can get more information if they're interested in that. And Tyler, you got any parting words for Mr. Mckinzie here?
Proud of you, man. Always supporting you, always following you. I'm ready for what's next, man. I'm ready to run through a wall right now for you always, but proud of you. Let's get it done.
Now, we did have a comment here on the golf first. Somebody was asking, Stubbs wants to know how many strokes he needs to give Rausa to get in on the round. He says he wants to keep it fair for you guys. So I don't know. We got listeners now. Maybe we can auction off a round with you two or something. I don't know. We might have to figure something out here. What's your handicap these days, Tyler? What do you think?
Gosh, at the moment, I'm probably sitting 3. I've had a little bit of a setback, had some surgery on my hand, but I'm still probably sitting at about a 3 right now.
If I ever beat Tyler on more than 4 holes, he'll never hear the end of it.
Here's the thing. He's beat me on about 1 or 2, and I still don't hear the end of it. So that's where I'm like.
I do want to say, though, man, honestly, thank you both of you guys. You guys have always been supportive. BJ, for the last couple of years, man, you've always been supportive and said like what you're doing. And Tyler, you know me and you, man. We've been hanging out a lot. Not much recently because I know you had a newborn, but always been a close brother and friend of mine. So, hey, if you ever want to go to Red Robin again, man, you know I'm always available.
Oh, always. That's our place.
Hey, David, appreciate it. Tyler, appreciate it. Another great episode this week. Have a great Christmas. You guys have a great Christmas to our listeners. And I'll see you down there, David, in Arizona for the Arizona Bowl. Looking forward to it. And we'll catch up down there. And Tyler, have fun there in California. I know you're back home. So appreciate it, guys. And we'll talk to you next week. The Tyler Rausa Show here on Bronco Nation News.